What's going on, everyone? We finally have the narrative roadmap for the rest of 2023, fall of 2023. You know, we had the original roadmap, did the first 6 months, and then we were like, okay, well, once those 6 months ended, we'll get another roadmap for the rest of the year, and it just skipped 1 month. But we got it. I'm really happy they, Kabam Jax, sat down with Tyler, who is a writer at Kabam, does story of the game, which is really exciting, and he dropped all teases and references, and it pretty much confirms a few characters, which I'm actually really excited about. I got my JX was right t-shirt on because I think we got some good luck going on. So obviously he starts out with September. He talks about Gladiator, which we knew, but he says Gladiator is joined by a familiar face, but with upgrades. That was weird, especially talking about the Masters of Evil are a villain, or villains of the month who have been, creating ice spears, if you remember March's event. And, the ice spear can control people, which is interesting because, I had this original idea that Agatha would come with him and Agatha would control him. So I don't know if that, does have to do with anything. It would be cool. But we do have the champions and, Young Avengers members who, fought last March against Masters of Evil. So a new member, hopefully, I think Ironheart could be potential, a familiar face because it's Iron Man's armor. Getting Infamous Iron Man, Ironheart actually was part of that story, and familiar because she was in the first vote. She was in the vote, was not in the underdog vote, which Kabam have teased saying, characters not in the underdog vote may come to the game. We got Morbius, we got Baron Zemo, we got Danny Moonstar. I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool, and Iron Lad's another possibility, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, moving on to October. So October is interesting. So, Tyler just constantly says monster, and, talking about it. And, Morbius we know for sure coming. And Monster, yeah, so Monster, I think of Legion of Monsters, and I think of Werewolf by Night. I've been saying for years Kabam should do a, vampire werewolf month. I was talking about Dracula and Werewolf by Night, but, Morbius, I guess, works for it too. So, yeah, I think that'd be peak content, and, Morbius being in the science class, because from the Summoner's Choice, and Werewolf by Night could be skill or mystic. I potentially wanted more in the skill. I wanted to be more ferocious and actually feel like a beast playing as him as in the skill class, but we do have Sasquatch, who is similar, but because he's more mystic, having the spirit of the Sasquatch in him and being more cursed. Werewolf by Night is cursed, but I just think he fit better in the skill class, and we have Blade in skill class, so it could be that connection on the map. There's also other characters, but I just think Werewolf by Night is way better. And I keep putting this image wrong. They did show this for November. Yeah, they confirm a new Ghost Rider. They straight up say a new Ghost Rider is joining the game alongside the new Kabam original, and they will be fighting the One Below All. Which One Below All was, from Immortal Hulk run, and in the comics, and the comics was primordial being before everything, below hell and everything. It's really cool. And in our game, we had Immortal Abomination who was possessed by him. So that's pretty awesome. And they show a comic from the 2009 run of Ghost Rider, which had Danny Ketch and Ghost Rider finding an angel. And Danny Ketch had Blue Flames, which we had a relic recently with Ghost Rider. So could be Danny Ketch, but I feel like Kushala is more likely. Gabe, the former director, said he really likes her, and then he put her in the vote, and she got pretty high up there, but she didn't win. But she wasn't in the underdog vote, so there's definitely a chance for her to come. And uniquely enough about her is she's not just a regular Ghost Rider, she's also Sorcerer Supreme of her time. So I think that's really cool to put her on the map. And, we do have an empty spot on the map next to Ghost Rider, so easily could be Kushala. Or Robbie Reyes, but I just think Kushala might have this in the bag. And the new original, I have kind of no idea who they could bring. I've said before a gating character, because if you look at the map, there's a mystery spot next to Purgatory in Hassenstadt. And Hassenstadt Castle, which is, the predecessor to Doomed Castle, because Queen Hassen had it, who's Morningstar, who's also Purgatory from a different universe. So, yeah, it's interesting. We had Lavera Guillotine on that map, but Gabe, the former director, said he had no plans for her to come. So, unless Kabam made those plans after he left, which could totally be possible, but if she would, she'd probably be more mystic. So, getting a double mystic month with would be interesting if we got a Ghost Rider in the mystic class and then a Kabam original. I am not too sure, I would hope the Kabam original, it having to do with One Below All could be a demon, so it could be mystic, but it could be skill, could be science, because One Below All has the connection to the Green Door with the Hulk characters, like the leader. that one's a tough one. So if you have any ideas, let me know. But it's specifically a new Ghost Rider and a new Kabam original. So that's all we know. And it has to do with One Below All, which is pretty interesting. And lastly, which is probably the most hype of ever, they show a specific comic, talk about someone with a big red suit, and that comic is the first reference to Onslaught. So if you're a big fan of Onslaught, this probably confirms him. I mean, Onslaught's been a most wanted character for a while. Sorry about that. And it's basically the spirits and souls of Charles Xavier and Magneto combined into one character, into one agonizing powerhouse. Who until recently was defeated by Legion, by the way, my favorite character. But yeah, really cool character. I mean, it pretty much makes sense. That spot where I have him on the map is where I had Mystique before, which is interesting. They did pretty much say that. I think it might be a similar case where we get a trophy champ alongside him. But who knows? I think that just confirms Onslaught. Some people said Santa, but I mean, unless that's a huge redirect, I don't want Santa in the game. I'd rather actually have Onslaught. And obviously they did talk about a trophy champ. There was like an unscripted bit where they said a trophy champ is coming. It is not tied to the banquet event. So it's has nothing to do with the banquet event, which does happen around December. It just will this character will be released sometime this year. So people talked about maybe the Paragauntlet reward or something else entirely. We're having a 6-month side quest. We'll have to do with the Elder War. I'm not too sure. Kabam doing trophy champs have usually been variants of Deadpool, or are characters brought back like Weapon X and Jessica Jones. They were actually dialogue characters, not intended to become playable, but Kabam did make them playable. And other dialogue characters, we do have another. We have X-Force Wolverine, which I wouldn't be the biggest fan of, but I really want Jean Grey. I want Jean Grey. It's crazy because people are like, oh, we have Phoenix, but Phoenix is Phoenix, right? Like you can be Phoenix without Jean Grey, because she does use her thing in her heavy or SP3 or whatever, but. Like, regular Jean Grey would be so cool. Have another psionic character, telepath, telekinetic. Jean Grey would be so sick. Her model's in the game. They specifically mentioned, like, a couple years ago that she split from Phoenix. Like, there is straight up just a Jean Grey in our game somewhere doing whatever. And I've been wanting Kabam to do her because Jessica Jones was said to not come. Like, Kabam were like, unless people want her, she's not coming. So, yeah, I think Jean Grey would be cool. And, help the mutant class because it's the mutant class getting left behind. I mean, like, yay, we're getting our second mutant character this year, but that's like since like January of last year. It's kind of insane. So hopefully it is Jean Grey. There are like Doombots and other stuff that sure we could get like someone Symbiote who is coming back this October as well. As a character, as an NBC to become playable, but I would love for Jean Grey and a trophy champ as well. They could just do another Deadpool. It seemed like they teased Deadpool last year with this map behind me. It's under my camera, but they teased like a mystery spot for Deadpool, which I said could be Pirate Pool, the Baron of the Deadpool house, or it could be Mystique, just because of just a tiny location base. But if you have any other suggestions, let me know. But I think that's it. I don't know what else to talk about because I think that's it. Stay tuned. There's another thing coming out this weekend you should all look forward to. And I'm really excited for this year. I really am happy. I'm glad they dropped this. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.